What is Synergetics?
So Synergetics is powering the agent economy. So for all of us who have seen other economies develop, so for example, if you look at YouTube, so it's a meeting place for creators, for advertisers and consumers to come in, and they all transact. I mean, consumers consume content, creators create that content, and advertisers help monetize that content by sharing the proceeds with the creators. So the same way, we are seeing the same movement happen again, but this time around for agents. And so currently what's happening in the industry is everyone has used probably ChatGPT. So that's like the first real consumer version of AI. AI has been around for a long time. I've used it even during my Yahoo days. But for the everyday person, AI has been sort of not within reach, but until ChatGPT came around. So ChatGPT is a simple application that's built on top of a model and so on, right? So what happens is now AI is just almost like, think of it as electricity. Now, what came after electricity was you had light bulbs, you had electric trains, you had television, you had motion picture, you had everything. All of those powered by electricity. So the way I look at it is foundation models are like electricity. They give us the building blocks. Now what do we do with it? And agents are the first sort of manifestation of that electricity in a kind of a kinetic form where it can start to do things. And so agents currently are being used by enterprises within the organization. But then that's a sort of a short-term trend. I mean, it's the beginnings, the foundations. But what's going to happen next is going to revolutionize how everyone is going to see agents. Because what's going to happen on the consumer side, you and me are going to create our own digital twins. Our twins will be replicas of us. They'll look like us, they'll talk like us, they'll speak in many more languages than you and I even know. But they can be our sort of alter ego online and be able to conduct transactions on our behalf. So Brian, you might be running or practicing for your next marathon, but then your twin could be shopping for you while you are busy doing other things. And then you have empowered your twin to do various things, and it'll complete those tasks. And so you can be so much more productive. But the same thing with companies. Companies are going to have twins or their agents be able to transact with other agents outside the enterprise, with their suppliers, their partners, so on and so forth. So for that to happen, you need the agent economy in place. And that agent economy needs many building blocks. And that plumbing, those building blocks are what we have built in AgentWorks, our flagship platform.
And is that based on the patent that you have on this A2A technology? It was one of the reasons we were really drawn to you, because there's a lot at stake here. And if you get this wrong, I mean, you could ruin companies. You could lose billions, I would think. And so this exact protocol is important. Maybe you could tell me a little bit about the patent and how your tech is different.
Sure. So actually, one morning, I think in 2024, I woke up one Sunday morning. I don't know, maybe I had a good night's sleep or whatnot. I woke up with this epiphany. I said, oh, I can see the future. I know exactly when this happened, because the next 4 hours, I was just feverishly typing all of my ideas, which became the patent. But it's a set of building blocks that you need in order to make the agent economy happen. So the first building block is agents need to have identity. So without identity, nothing else matters. But that identity needs to be registered somewhere. And that's where the registry comes in. So the registry is like a yellow pages, old-fashioned yellow pages where you look up people's names. Here you look up the ID of the agent. So why do you need that? You need that for a process called discoverability. So I'll just give you a quick note on that. That's very important. It's very crucial part, which is why we are partnered with MIT Media Lab on these registries. So for instance, it's a kind of a funny quiz I give some of my coworkers. I said, if you have one person, you need no connections. You've got no one to connect with. If you have two, you have one connection. If you have 3 people, you have 3 connections. A connects to B, A connects to C, B connects to C. If you have 4 people, A connects to B, A connects to C, A connects to D, and then vice versa, all of them connect. It's 6 connections. So that's called a n times n minus 1 over 2. It's a O(n) squared problem in computer science. That means it's got a complexity of n squared. Now, when you have a registry, that complexity gets down to 1. That means if I want to connect with you, I don't need to know your address a priori. I just have to look it up in the registry and say, let me get the address of Brian's twin and then connect with Brian's twin, like that. So this is, I know it gets a bit technical, but it's very important because it reduces complexity. So the idea is all the agents in the world will ultimately register themselves with the registry. So we have our registry, other companies like Google and Salesforce and ServiceNow and so on, they're all creating registries. And so the folks at MIT and us got together, and one of the things that we decided to build, co-develop, was a registry of registries, which is like a yellow pages of yellow pages, where all of the world's agents can be somehow traced. And so if anyone wants to talk to anyone, they can look it up, and that becomes like an index. Very similar to how Google is an index of web pages, this is the index of all the agents in the world. So that's a critical building block. So you have ID, you have registry. The next thing, if you want the agent economy to function, just like you and I carry our driver's license in our wallet, the agent has a wallet. And that wallet contains not only a driver's license, we normally carry credit cards or currency so that you can go out and buy a cup of coffee. So same way here, the agents have got a wallet which has cryptocurrency or stable coins. And now that's the third building block. The fourth building block is where the A2A protocol comes in. So at this point, I've described an ID and so on. We have the agent also has a name. So we have the lock on dot twin. So you can have Brian.twin. That TLD belongs to us. We have partnered with Unstoppable Domains on that. So then the next step is this agent will have to communicate with websites or with other agents. So this is where A2A comes in. So with websites, you can connect via this protocol that Anthropic produced called, which is becoming the standard for the industry, called MCP, Model Context Protocol. Okay. And then with other agents, you need to use agent-agent protocol. And this is where we had our patent approved in February of this year. It's called Agent Talk. And it describes how two agents will communicate with one another. And the first level is basically authentication and authorization to make sure that you are who you really claim to be. And to prevent that, whenever we add agents to a registry, we go through a process called KYA, know your agent. Similar to KYC and KYB that's already there in the banking world. It's KYA now. Second level of the protocol is vocabulary. So for instance, if you go to a math class, the conversation is about math. But if you go to a soccer practice, the conversation is most likely about soccer, nothing to do with math. So there are vocabularies in every conversation that happens. So the same way, we have created an extensible set of vocabularies, but we have given it away as open source in the sense that any company can extend vocabularies. You can build whatever vocabulary you want. So a canonical example that we have is these agents can not only manifest themselves in the virtual world, but they can also manifest themselves in the physical world. For example, a car can be an agent and a parking meter can be an agent. The same car can be an agent with a toll booth or a fast food drive-through. But those three vocabularies are different because the parking meter only understands parking. And the fast food will only understand, let's say Wendy's fast food, will only understand Wendy's menu and that vocabulary. So these vocabularies will become numerous over time. So that's the crux of our protocol. And I'll segue into something which is kind of interesting because when we approached Google recently, after, I saw their VP give a talk at the MIT Media Labs event in July. And we approached him and he said, you guys have introduced A2A, which is after we came to market. But then we want to go in the spirit of collaboration, because there's no use for multiple standards to be in the industry. It's better to coalesce towards something that everyone will use. It will be beneficial for the whole ecosystem. So we've come together to try to extend A2A, and there are benefits of A2A, and then we have certain unique attributes and benefits. So we are now working closely with Google and other players in the market for agent payments. And so that's a huge area, but I'll stop there. If you have more questions, we'll go into agent payments a bit more.